Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I've got two interesting stories for you. Both deals with administration, both deals with politics. My story number one deals with the appointment of the CBI director. You must have heard a story yesterday that Justice N.V. Ramanna, Chief Justice N.V. Ramanna had rejected two candidates which were actually proposed and also favorites of the PMO. Candidate one was Rakesh Asthana, 84 batch Gujarat officer, IPS officer. Candidate two was YC Modi, 84 batch Meghalaya, Assam Meghalaya officer. Both were rejected by Justice Ramanna, saying that, listen, you know what, there's a rule that if you were to be the director of CBI, you would need at least 6 months before retirement. You would need to have 6 clear months of service before retirement. So if you don't have that 6 months of service, you cannot be the director of CBI. And finally, it was said that they reached a consensus on a name, that is Subodh Jaiswal, 1985 Maharashtra cadre officer, who was now appointed as CBI director. Let's discuss that in detail. Point number two is we had seen district magistrates, additional district magistrates beat up people. Who are these district magistrates and additional district magistrates to beat up people? Do they have the right? Is it prescribed in the law? Of course, most of them were either sacked or suspended or transferred. But you see, why are our district magistrates behaving like this? Let's look at it from their perspective. That's my story number two. Let's get right into the show. Okay, now the story goes that the Prime Minister's office, or the government rather, wanted to have either Mr. Rakesh Asthana, 84 batch Gujarat officer, or Mr. YC Modi, 84 batch Assam Meghalaya officer, to be the next CBI director. But Chief Justice of India intervened and said, nothing doing, you can't make these two gentlemen director of CBI, because there is a rule that says that these people need to have 6 months of clear service, which means they need to have 6 months before they retire, which both these gentlemen didn't have. So their name was rejected, and another name popped up, which was of Mr. Subodh Jaiswal, again a 1985 officer, 1985 batch officer from Maharashtra. There was a lot of talk in the media saying that, hey, you know what, the Chief Justice did his job. The Chief Justice put his foot down, and the Chief Justice got the right man for the job. The Chief Justice did not allow the government to have its way. This was what was spoken about. Now, there is another theory that is being formed, or that is being spoken, and I am going to talk about the second theory. You see, the job of director of CBI was vacant from February 2021. February 2021. Now, normal circumstances when a job is vacant, the recruitment happens either in January end or February first week. The recruitment is done. So technically speaking, the recruitment of the next CBI director should have been done in February. Had the recruitment done in February, both these people, that is Rakesh Asthana and Mr. YC Modi, both would have been eligible to become the director of CBI. But why did the government choose not to do it? In fact, there was a sitting CBI director, Praveen Sinha, Gujarat cadre officer, 1988 batch, who was made the acting chief of CBI. Why did they make this acting chief? Why couldn't they recruit Rakesh Asthana? Chief Justice Bobde was on the chair then. So possibly things would have been easier and it would have been absolutely legal. But the government didn't do that. The reason given is because it was COVID because there was pandemic, so therefore they didn't do it. Now, mind you, February, the government thought that the pandemic is over. Remember Kumbh Mela? Remember all those rallies? Pandemic was over. So if you could do rallies, if you could allow Kumbh Mela, why couldn't you have a meeting where you appoint a CBI director, such an important position? So those 2 months, those 3 months would have ensured that both these gentlemen would have been eligible for the job, but they were not happy. So that's a question mark, right? Now, by backing two candidates, the government very well knew that these two candidates were not eligible, because obviously if the Chief Justice knew the law, so did the Prime Minister of India, so did the Prime Minister's office. Both of them knows the law. By backing two candidates who are not eligible and getting them shot down by the Chief Justice, what the government has proven? The government has proven that finally it is not the government. Government has got nothing to do with the appointment of the Chief Justice. It has been appointed by the committee. Government proved that. Number two, what the government has proven is this entire thing about manipulating with institutions and destroying institutions and all that allegations that was being levied over the government, that allegations somehow can be wiped out. The government can say, "Theek hai, we proposed two people, didn't happen. The third person we proposed happened. Everybody consensus, everything fine." Now let's come to Mr. Subodh Jaiswal. Mr. Subodh Jaiswal, no doubt, is a fine officer with a fantastic track record and an officer known to be a man of high integrity. There is no doubt about it. But that being said, Mr. Subodh Jaiswal's last 6 months were not the best in his career. He had approached the CM with certain flaws that were happening in the government. There was some certain corruption which was happening in the government. The CM Maharashtra did not give him heed. They didn't have the best of relationship between the government and Mr. Subodh Jaiswal. Mr. Subodh Jaiswal wanted to get out of Maharashtra. Finally, he was taken in to Delhi and he was made the CISF head. Now, the fact remains that it is very clear that Mr. Subodh Jaiswal did not have the best of relations with Maharashtra state government, that is the Mahavikas Aghadi government. Now, if you look at the most important cases in front of CBI today, the most important cases in front of CBI today is the Parambir Singh case, is the Anil Deshmukh case. Anil Deshmukh was a former Home Minister of Maharashtra, and the chances are that, if CBI wants it, CBI takes it seriously and CBI pushes for it, he could be arrested. So, the most important case that CBI is currently handling, of course, West Bengal and all are happening, but most important case that CBI is currently is handling is that of Maharashtra. And if CBI actually pushes for it, the Maharashtra government could shake. And who better to handle this case other than Subodh Jaiswal, the former Director General of Police, Maharashtra himself. Not only that Mr. Subodh Jaiswal was a Maharashtra Director General of Police, former Director General of Police Maharashtra, Mr. Subodh Jaiswal was the first person, he was the whistleblower to go out and tell the Chief Minister of Maharashtra that the Home Minister of Maharashtra is indulging in corruption. It is he who said it first. Now think about it. If you were the Prime Minister of India and a leader of Bharatiya Janata Party, who would you choose as a CBI chief? Would you choose Rakesh Asthana? Would you choose YC Modi? Or would you choose Subodh Jaiswal, a person who could actually help you win Maharashtra back? Think about it. Now, this is another school of thoughts. This is another thought process. And I don't know what is right or what is wrong, but I'm just putting another thought process in front of you. But another point of it, way to look at it is Subodh Jaiswal as a person is known to be an officer of very high integrity. Would he do what the government wants him to do? Or would he act like some other senior officers, senior investigative bodies and senior enforcement officers, where they would listen to everything that the government says? Most of the people who have worked with him, most of the people who have known him professionally says no. Mr. Subodh Jaiswal is not a person who will agree to everything that the government says. That is not the way he's built. He is a man with a mind of his own, and like I said again and again, he's a man with tremendous amount of integrity. Now the question is, what happens if Mr. Subodh Jaiswal starts saying no to the government, to the ministry? Surajpur DM, Surajpur is in Chhattisgarh, slapped a person. Tripura DM went inside a marriage hall and started beating up people. Sajapur, this is in Madhya Pradesh, and ADM did the same, beat up a shopkeeper. Now, why do these DMs do it? Again, here two school of thoughts. One school of thought says colonial mind. These DMs, once they are out of their UPSC training, they start thinking that they are kings. They have a colonial state of mind. People bend in front of them. People touch their feet. They start believing that they are kings of the areas that they are. And the training system, the UPSC training system has done nothing to humble them down. Or even the system around has done nothing specifically to humble them down, to say that you are not the public ruler, you are the public servant. That does not happen. One school of thoughts. Secondly, as the seniority increases, this feeling of being above the rest of the people, that the person, he or she is a level above the normal human beings, that feeling sets in to these people's mind. These people cease to be public servant, they start being fate makers. They believe that they can create, they can make your fate, they can make or break your fate, and to a certain extent they can. To a certain extent they can. So that's the kind of power that these people yield, and that power gets into their mind. This is one school of thoughts, and this is not wrong at all. The colonial acts, the colonial system of thinking, the colonial rules that we follow, we still follow, and that's the biggest problem that we face. So therefore, our public servants are like rulers, because in colonial times, these public servants were rulers of those districts. They were absolutely ruling those districts. So they had somebody who would tie their shoes, they have somebody who will wear their socks, somebody who will dress them up, and a lot of DMs, a lot of bureaucrats still follow those same rules. Definitely still follow the same rules. So that mindset is there, and like I said before, the system has done nothing to change it. The education process or the UPSC, which is responsible for creating these ladies and gentlemen, they have done nothing in their training process to humble these people down. That's the point number one. Now that's one way of looking at it. Now let's look at it from a different perspective. Let's look at it from a bureaucrat's perspective. You see, these people, they work 18 hours, 19 hours a day. Their political masters physically don't do anything. They physically don't do anything. But all the limelight that the political masters get is derived from the work these bureaucrats do on the field. So when the bureaucrat does beautifully, the political master becomes the boss. And he says, Dekho, in the election he says, Dekho, maine ye kiya, maine kya kiya, wo bureaucrat ne kiya. देखो मैंने कैसे सोचा, मैंने क्या सोचा, bureaucrat ने सोचा. So every credit that a politician takes, who comes in front of you and takes the credit, the actual work is done by a bureaucrat. Now what really happens is, to ensure that the politician looks good, he squeezes this bureaucrat, he makes this bureaucrat work 34 hours a day. And that's the kind of pressure that these bureaucrats are put under. Tremendous amount of pressure that these bureaucrats are put under. So these bureaucrats are responsible as to if there is no beds, bureaucrats are responsible. People don't go to take their tests, bureaucrats are responsible. If there is no turnout for vaccination, bureaucrats are responsible. So if the vaccination doesn't turn out, the bureaucrat cannot sleep that night. The bureaucrat has a huge problem. Now if the vaccination is not available and there's a huge queue, again the bureaucrats are responsible. The policy decisions that the politicians take is forgotten, but the final decision, the final pressure, the entire weight of the system falls on a bureaucrat. We can safely say that, and I don't think anybody will deny it. Now, when you work for 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours, you tend to crack under pressure. A lot of bureaucrats can handle pressure. Some of these people, like these gentlemen or ladies, could not handle the pressure. They crumple under pressure. And coupled with the fact that they have this, I am the Lord and master of the place, coupled with this fact, gets them to do what they do. What you see there is because of that. My intention of talking about it today is to give you both sides of the perspective, because एक side से देखना ठीक है, that is one end of the story, but one needs to look it from both sides of the coin. Both sides of the coin should be shown to us, so that we understand what these people also go through. So absolutely wrong, hitting people, going to what that gentleman in that Tripura did was actually, I think it was juvenile. I mean, I'm surprised how he is still a DM, but that was, I think, juvenile what he did. So yeah, fine, of course it was wrong, and of course that should not be happening, and of course these people should be suspended and punished and whatever. But also the fact that, if you look at it from another perspective, the pressure they go through, I think it is very unique to their job. Till I see you next time, Namaskar. Namaskar. We asked you to support us, and we are overwhelmed and grateful for the kind of support you gave us. A lot of you all told us that you find it difficult to support us through Facebook or through YouTube, and you would like to directly come and take subscription on our channel. A lot of you all said that you wouldn't prefer to pay through credit cards, but rather have other methodologies. A lot of you all said that you want a one-time payment option, one-time subscription option. So we arranged for all of that. All of that has been arranged for. We have now multiple payment options. We have UPI, we have Paytm, we have credit cards, we have net banking, we have wallet. We have a lot of payment option now. We have a one-time subscription option. And all of this is now available on our website. The link is down below, and our website, of course, as you know, is www.hwnews.in. Mind you, with subscription, we also have a lot we offer you. So you have exclusive programs, you have exclusive meet and greets, you have exclusive goodie bags, a lot of it that we give for each subscription. All of those details are there in our website. So please go to our website and, if possible, subscribe to us. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.